Hi, welcome to If I Did It, a show where we analyze and solve pure kerfuffles from MMA world and beyond.
Yeah.
Joining
That's
me
a
as
cold
always.
wind of nothingness.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. The cold wind of winter. I'm Alexio, and joining me as always is Kid Native Bloody Elbow and Eugene S. Robinson from Aussie.com and author of Fight Everything Everyone to Know About Ass Kicking, but we're afraid you get your ass kicked for asking.
Nice.
I had my own little kerfuffle yesterday, gentlemen.
Oh.
I had a Halloween kerfuffle.
Tell me.
So I was at my kids had a Halloween parade at their school, and so I went dressed as Luke Cage without my head shaved because the kids begged me, said, "Daddy, don't shave your head, don't shave your head. Oh, don't shave your head, it's me weird. Just put the hoodie on, just put the hoodie on, just put it on." So for those who don't know, like Luke Cage, the whole thing about the popular Netflix show is he's supposed to be like an everyman, right? And he's trying to hide his identity, and it's also part of like the Trayvon Martin thing. So like he has a hoodie, like so if he wants he has a hoodie, a Carhartt hoodie, and Carhartt like jacket, right? So that's
With
his whole
multiple
MO.
with multiple bullet holes in it, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, when he gets shot, he has multiple holes, right? So the funny thing is, when he was on Jessica Jones, that was her outfit. It's pretty funny. Pre-Trayvon Martin, she would have the hoodie because it makes sense. If you have powers and you don't want people knowing who you are, you wear a hoodie, right? So I got the hoodie on. Well, I have it off at this point because, whatever. I'm there. I see this brother with the goatee, because I didn't do the goatee. I had like a weak-ass little thing. The full goatee, shaved head, hoodie, black coat. I was like, Luke Cage! He was like, no. Who? I was like, oh, okay. I thought you were dressed as Luke Cage. Well, who's Luke Cage? Oh, whatever. See another dude. Shaved head, goatee, hoodie, coat. Luke Cage! Huh? So by that point, I realized that as successful and as popular as I thought this show was, breaking Netflix apparently hasn't spread out to the over 35 crowd with kids yet. So it came out in September. So I had to put my hoodie on in shame for the rest of the
But you don't even have to reference a TV show. I mean, I'm going back to the comic book, man. So
the comic book had a different look. He had yellow shirt and
the chain around
tiara.
Yeah, and the chain around his waist.
Right. It wasn't until the end of the night when I was walking around with the hoodie of shame on.
Depressed,
right? I was like, here, finally I'm dressed up for Halloween, right? And then I hear guys go, Luke Cage, Luke Cage! It's my neighbors.
How old were
who
they?
are cool. And his brother, who were like, oh, we just saw the show last night, the last episode. And we all geeked up and, had our geek moment on Luke Cage. So the night was saved. But that was a kerfuffle. So, I don't know how many people out there watched Luke Cage rolling up on brothers with shaved heads and goatees, assuming that they're dressing up for Halloween when that's just their everyday look.
Well, as things go, things could have been a lot worse, So far as Halloween costumes go.
That's true. No one's in blackface. So there we go. So I guess it's progress.
Well, you did have that celebrity who dressed up as her boyfriend dresses up as a pilgrim, and she dressed up as and there was a Hillary Duff.
Oh yeah, somebody that.
And then of course then then she clawed it back by apologizing, and there was something about the Trump voter in me that said, you know what, keep your fucking apology. I don't like this two-step. What's the next thing she's gonna do? Run to rehab? I'm sorry, I didn't know. Huh? Oh yeah. Here you go. Here's a Trump voter running my way. He heard me invoke Trump's name 3 times. So now he's like, poof, in a puff of smoke he appears like Beetlejuice. Yeah.
Well, in terms of apologies, though, Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor, posed on the set of the new Thor movie with the no DAPL, the anti-pipeline, along with the director, a Maori director. And in the caption, in addition to protesting it, he said, also, I want to take this time to address, I wore a costume last year that I found out was offensive to First Nations people. I deeply apologize. My ignorance was so-and-so. So it's really fascinating, like how he used a protest opportunity to address something that he had done a year before. So
yeah, well, the fact that he was thinking about it makes it kind of hollowy to me. That's why I say keep your fucking apologies, because they never come across as legit. I mean, and at that point, what's happening is that you're being punished just for being stupid, right? I mean, hey, guess who I am? Yeah, I'm a date rapist. That's my Halloween costume. Oh, you mean that's insensitive? I'm sorry. Really? That's it. Like Anton LaVey said when I interviewed him, I talked about deathbed conversions, and and he got this weird look on his face, and he goes, "If it was that easy, heaven help us all." And I go, if you are a Christian, it's that easy. Like Gene Simmons said, based on your theology, Hitler could be in heaven and I won't be. And
That's
I will.
right.
Maybe it's because you suck.
Well, speaking about sucking and fairness, Nate, your WME-IMG. According to the Sun, UFC Moneyweight champion Conor McGregor is planning to take time away from MMA after his UFC 205 match with lightweight champion Eddie Alvarez. What moves are you making publicly and privately in wake of these rumors?
Well, if I'm going to behave like WME and Dana White have been behaving in the recent past, I'm just going to announce his next fight as soon as I can and book it as soon as I can and let him maximize the pressure he has on us and just throw money at him because we have to. That's probably what I'd do if I were WME. And yes, this is a Hello Kitty Band-Aid.
Oh, nobody was going to ask your pathetic plea for attention. Nobody was going to ask. That's why you had to call it out.
Man,
Okay. All right, Nate, what happened? What happened?
I shaved.
Oh, yeah, that's a good cover. I like that. An actual faggot staggering around the den drunk and hit your chin on the edge of the table.
It was like,
but okay, shaving.
And then I bled to death alone in my suite.
Yeah. Is that what happened to Holden?
Yeah, he was so drunk his blood just poured out of him because he was drunk. Yep.
From a chin wound.
I don't know. It was a head wound. I don't know if it was a chin wound. But he put something on it, and staggered around for a while more before he bled to death. But
it's like the guy from
the chin
ABBA.
bone's connected to the head bone, so I guess it is a head wound.
The guy from ABBA, man. I'm going to get a chic glass shower. Oh, really? That shower was laying in wait for him. He slipped in. Was at home alone. Slipped in that glass shower, broke the door, and as he fell to the floor, cut his neck on the fucking shower and bled out at home in his mansion alone. Yeah, take a chance on me, baby. That's
he should have stuck with his bride from ABBA. There
you go. She would have been home at least. He could have called the cops.
That's right.
So,
it's Waterloo. So what do you think, Eugene?
All right. I think, well, first of all, you've asked it one way, but I'm going to answer another way. If I am Mystic Mac, this is the smart. I mean, he's not made many stupid moves. This is an incredibly smart move because what he's doing is what I suggested on Knuckle Up. He's like, you know what? I'm going to take this milk crate and I'm going to sit in the 7-Eleven and juniper bushes and I'm going to let this fucking dust clear until we can figure out what's going on. You built it up on my back. You sold it on my back. I'm going to let you guys make the necessary realignments. And then because I can only lose by fighting the dusty corral behind the 7-Eleven. The stakes are really too high. And the excuse he gave is tailor-made for perfection. He is now stepping into his role as not so much elder statesman, but a more senior August member of the community. He's doing it he's not this ill-defined GSP. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what. No, I'm going to start a family. The woman who stuck by me through thick and thin when I had nothing is here. We want to have children. We're settling down. I'm not in Vegas screwing strippers. I'm doing, so let that dude sit out for a while. You got other guys that need to fill the breach. You got Johnny. All right, man. You got Johnny Boney Joni. You got Honda who needs to. She's had her year. Get her back out there. You can't keep running me out. I'm a show pony. Give me some fucking breathing room. Build your organization, and then in a year's time, when we can start making big money again, and you've coalesced around only 13 fights a year instead of a bunch of garbage fights, and you've distributed. The wealth is being distributed a little bit more evenly, and you got the other guys who are shouldering some of the burden. Perfect time for me to come back. Perfect time. Otherwise, he's going to run him up against some guy who's eventually going to destroy him, and then where's everybody going to be? So if I'm WME, I go, you know what? Good move. We're going to, Madison Square Garden, record-setting so far according to the bald one. Let dude have his space. Push Ronda out there. Got Cyborg out there. We got Johnny Boney Joni out there. I don't know. I may be kind of bold by saying Stipe, but you know what I mean. You got some exciting fights. At least jogging you through the first half of 2017. Give the guy his space. When was he going to fight anyway? Were you going to roll him out there in April again? No.
Yeah.
So
if not sooner, if not over the holiday, New Year's Eve.
That would be crazy. That would be ill-advised, and nobody. Not if I were, and after a loss, what? You know.
Right.
Book him another fight. Book a rematch. It worked last time.
And you think about the fights that are exciting. You know, guys who got their fingers on the pulse. I'm not so much of a Bisping fan, but calling out a Diaz, money, baby. You know, Weidman's out there. Shut, flapping the mouth. Shut up. You know, there's nothing. There's nothing. You got like De Niro said in The Untouchables. You got nothing. You are nothing. You know. So it's all about making that whatever GTA.
Well, you're the UFC, Eugene. Jon Jones spent the past week tweeting about PEDs, engaging in Twitter beef with Bellator heavyweight Matt Mitrione about PEDs, and posting a weightlifting photo, including the caption, quote, "Bring on the juice jokes," end quote. After USADA hearing about the banned substances found in Jones's positive drug tests, which occurred on Halloween, this hearing, his lawyer, Howard Jacobs, told MMA Fighting, quote, "I think the evidence all came in and we're happy with sort of how the case went, and now we're just going to wait for the decision. It's out of our hands now," end quote. Are you going to wait or take PR matters into your own hands?
Well, you do understand what Johnny Boney Joni is doing, right? Johnny Boney Joni is trying to ride a created dynamic of media spaces that keeps his name in the conversation, right? In lieu of actually being able to have a fight to coalesce around to do that. So he's if you think that these tweets they might be ill-advised, but I don't think there's anything casual about them, you know, because if you were to chart his Q rating or the interest rating, or how about just go to Google Trends and type in his name, there's very clearly a line about public level of interest, and it wavers. And if you don't think some of the more savvy fighters are paying attention to that, you'd be exactly totally wrong. Like somebody texted me the other day about the new category we created, lost in the supermarket category, or lits, you know, guys like DC and DJ, the champions, but they just, you know, nice guys, champions, decent family men, but can't carry a fight to save their fucking lives, you know, because people just lost in the supermarket. So, you know, Johnny Boney Joni is not that, and this is about staying somehow valuable until he can ride the 2 days until they come back with a decision, and pretty much immediately on the heels of that announce his next fight. But again, like I said on Knuckle Up, I'm hearing things. I'm hearing bad things out of Albuquerque, not good things. And the good things are that dude is taking Uber, you know. The bad things are that the environment, specifically here, allegedly, the mini mart guys who provided Stree Overlord are still part of his rolling crew, still keeping dude out to 2 or 3 in the morning, still going to questionable clothing only establishments, allegedly, and darker murmurings, which I shall not repeat here, but seem to indicate that I'm sitting here like this. Book this guy a fucking fight, please, so he has some place to direct this fucking energy other than tweeting and hanging out at the mini mart. That's, you know, I mean, I'm gonna have to say that he's probably the first gicked for non-fight reasons. I start thinking about it and I get spilkus in the gonectozoid. You know, it's even money as to whether the guy is going to be able to pull it off for non-fight related reasons, man. Right. Jesus Christ. You know, what he needs to do is talk to Tyson. Find out. How does that feel? How does that feel 20 years after to realize that moment came for you and went for you and you were fucking around when it happened, you know? So I don't know.
So range. So if you are the UFC, maybe, you know, let's go into the WME-IMG. Then you would try to have a kind of social media or a lifestyle intervention then, I guess, like get a Tyson or somebody like that just to hang with him and talk to him about stuff.
No,
right?
you got to be super. You get to fucking Malky right now, and you say, "Look, I'm hearing things. I'm hearing things, Malk, and I'm not liking the things I'm hearing. If your boy holds it down for 3 more months, even 3 weeks, even holds it down." The world is his fucking oyster. Do not be that story where the guy is out in his bathrobe on the curb watching the house burn with tears in his eyes. Do not be that guy. I don't know how better to fucking say it than that. Hold it down. I don't know. Do you have an LA? Get him out of Albuquerque. Get him to LA. Get him into a new environment, a new focus. Fuck, man. Tweeting about PEDs. All right, man. So, I don't know. Like I said, just even talking about it now, I'm getting a level of tension and panic behind it that, like, I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand to see supreme talent squandered. For what? What kind of, I mean, being a preacher's son only gets you so far. I held it that, there's an argument in favor of guys whose fathers made them hold it down, like Todd Marinovich, and just flipping out. I just, maybe you got to let kids be kids after a certain point, Maybe being a minister's kid is tough, but Jesus Christ, how old's dude now? He's got to hold it together. Got to. And if you think I'm fucking, and if you think I'm exaggerating, believe me, I'm not even giving you 50% of what I'm hearing.
Wow. Jeez. So what do you think, Nate?
If I'm the UFC, I book Jon Jones in a high-profile fight as fast as I can and start a PR campaign to pressure the Nevada Commission to come out with a ruling and end the suspension, because he made a pretty good case. First guy ever that convinced me that he took a tainted supplement, could prove its provenance, prove he had no knowledge of taking an illegal substance. And, voila. I think the Nevada Commission responds to the UFC. They're big constituents. They make the Nevada Commission a lot of money. Put the pressure on the Nevada Commission. That's what the UFC needs to do. Book a fight so they can start talking about it, start the drumbeat, start publicly calling for the commissioners to make a decision, and move on.
And the reality of it is, this is just good PR for the commission, because with the base of operations moving from Vegas to LA, they're yesterday's men anyway. Do go out on a high note, curry some favor, just step out of the way before dude fucking self-immolates,
Well, are you kind of hoping to, when you talk about that challenge that he needs and to fight boredom, is this a reason to try to, if he comes back and he recaptures the belt, just to try to fast track that fight with Stipe and just get him in the heavyweight division as soon as possible, just get him out of his comfort zone and have him have to dig down and tap his skills?
But you know what? I'm of two minds on this thing, because if everyone is telling you about the rewards, if you can see this future in front of you, and that's not enough to keep you focused, you know what? Hey, man, hey, look, I'm gonna clear the path. Go for the hookers. Go for whatever else you want. Go, because you know what? Ask Tyson how many of those fucking people are still around. Ask him how many of those people are still around. You got guys walking up to you in the casino saying, "Hey, champ, how's it going? Can I buy you a drink?" That's it. And if you're lucky stars, you don't end up like Joe Louis working in the fucking men's room handing out towels. I mean, this shit is
mints.
Yeah, I mean, as a preacher, yeah. Look. I think there's a theory that I'm working on. A couple of theories. One theory is that, I'm not even going to get into one theory. I spelled it out in Knuckle Up. It's
save that for the later.
It's inflammatory. I don't need to get into it. But the other theory I have is that there is a critical mass number of people that men have to have had sex with before they're going to relax, because otherwise men will always have that excuse in the back of it, well, I've never had sex with a woman from Vietnam. I've always had a thing for redheads, right? So you got to get all those boxes checked before you're going to feel semi-sane. If you have any single box unchecked, it makes you weak. It makes you weak, and this is the preacher's kid thing. It's like, this guy's got a whole, whether it's true or not, most people don't rise above their perception of themselves that existed in high school. So he's out there on the hunt. He's doing, man, I'm never missing a workout. I'm here every fucking single time. You know why? Because my perception of time is such that I don't have time to fuck around. But he does that, but in reverse, and it's creating a life situation where he's not fucking focused. And you know, Greg and Malky are adult men dealing with another adult man. What the fuck can you do?
Well, when he's performed, well, also when he's allegedly mailing it in, and he's been able to dominate without really, I mean, if you believe the hype, without having to tap in and dig deep, other than having moments where he has to. So when stuff comes so easy for you, again, I mean, not saying he hasn't worked hard, but you get to a certain point, in terms of his skill set and how creative he used to be, as opposed to the kind of stuff he started doing once he was more embroiled with Jackson Wing. What I'm saying is that also the language that he used to use that was bothersome, like, I'm young, I'm young, I'm young, I'm young, I'm young. You hear these certain narratives, and then also the fact that his brothers are in the NFL. So one thing that you had mentioned before, Eugene, is compared to the kind of behaviors that his brothers are seeing. So it's not like he's the celebrity of his family. I mean, amongst his brothers are in higher profile sports than he is. So maybe that's part of the weird equation too. It's kind of like acting out being in a kind of a niche sport, as opposed to, you know, being part of a prime time A-list. I mean,
so if he, well, I don't believe. I mean, I think his percept. If he believes that what he's doing is in the shadows, he's exactly 100% wrong. But if you chart again the careers of a GSP star as an exciting fighter, and then there was this kind of weird decline into workman-like behavior and just kind of a winning and decision thing, and Jones's drop off has not been precipitous, but man, getting the guy to focus on shit is. Okay, like I said, you know, put yourself in Tyson's situation at the same age with the same amount of money, I'd have probably lost my mind too. However, I was not supremely talented in anything, so what do I know? You know,
right, which is why you have to work out harder. And you're
right.
older
What little talents I have, I focused on to the exclusion of other things because I got nothing. But if I had everything in terms of talent, who knows? Maybe I'd be distracted too. But I
could have been a contender.
You know, I mean, WME has to say, really, if you're charting an 18-month, you know, plot for the business, you know, a SWOT analysis would indicate he's one of your major strengths, but you know, the second letter in the SWOT analysis is weakness is also a major weakness, man. I got it. Like Nate says, get that guy get him back on the schedule that got him where he is now. 3 fucking big fights in a year. Fuck you. Get to work. That's it. You know, that's the only way. I mean, a lot of times these guys are sensation addicts as well. So they can't. They just they need the bing. You know, his brothers play every week, right? Every week. That's the schedule. And then until it's the off season, then they have, you know, the trades and free agency, and there's all kinds of stuff. And then you got to get ready for maybe. But you just got to keep these guys engaged. Got to keep them engaged.
Well, talking about getting guys engaged, Nate, your Bellator. Banter between Chael Sonnen and Tito Ortiz is garnering more mainstream attention for your company than any match in your company's history. With their fight over 2 months away, what PR moves can you make to keep the ball rolling?
Just keep booking appearances for him, man. Get him on TV. Get him on the talking head shows. Let Chael make a fool of Tito. Let Tito make a fool of himself. It's magic. I mean, Tito's got a proven success record. Even the Stephan Bonner fight showed you need an opponent that's at least going to give Tito something to go up against. Like when Tito fought Liam What's-His-Face, the new up-and-coming talent, there was just no mojo there. But with Chael, who can run his mouth unparalleled, best shit-talking MMA history, and then Tito, who constantly steps on his own tongue and says the stupidest, most maladroit shit.
Juicy juice box boy.
Yeah, it's Tito is gold. I mean, you know, either.
See, when I said the juice box, when I had to try to do the breakdown, so he's like, see, I was crushing a juicy juice box because the juicy juice, like, you know, juice in steroids, get it?
Yeah, they just need to book as much opportunity as they can. If they can't get them on TV shows, put them online. Just get the video out there where people can share it on Facebook and Twitter and keep people talking. And Chael and Tito will do the rest. This is gold. This is magic. Just milk it, hype it, push it.
Yeah, because after the fight, Yeah, if you want to see after the fight, go to the last 5 minutes of that movie Giant with James Dean and Elizabeth Taylor and Rock Hudson, and that will be what you have after the fight. Somebody sitting at the dais in front of a microphone, and the hall empty. That's it. You know, you guys better enjoy the fight. This is the party. I mean, did you ever think in 2016 that you would still be talking about Tito Ortiz? In fact, there are fighters out there like Tank Abbott sitting around going, what? You got what? How is that guy still relevant? He's a cockroach. He's a cockroach, man. You know, so yeah, ride that rocket all as far as it can go. And that's increasingly the Bellator business model, right?
Yep. Well, speaking of business models, Eugene, you're the UFC. Former lightweight contender Iaquinta insinuated during an interview with the Three Amigos podcast his real estate career is a better financial move than fighting for your company.
Insinuating nothing.
Do you care, or I couldn't say allegedly, do you care or do you need to make a positive PR example to prevent others from following his lead?
No. This is one of those moments that sometimes corporations have. You know, corporations are banking on the big payout, right? And this is the Kenny Rogers moment. I almost said Kenny G. Sorry, Kenny Rogers. Where the moment is to hold it or to fold it, and you really, you know, how big of a loser or winner do you want to be? You know, I mean, I learned something about myself when they first came out with computers with online gambling, fake online gambling, and you could play blackjack on your computer, right? You play black, and I'd win $1 million, and I'd be the rest of the day happy because it was fake money, you know. I think my skills are transferable to Vegas. Okay, all right, and then I would take that last extra step. I'm gonna let it ride the whole mill, and it would be plunged down to freaking zero. So I mean, this is that. That's what the UFC is in that moment. If you do not have faith, yeah, I know you've been traumatized. I know the bald one has created an environment, you know, that is unpleasant beyond repair for the guys who are in the top 10, but on the far side reach of top 10. But this is the Tug McGraw moment. You gotta believe. And you're not gonna believe, then step the fuck off, because they don't have time. They really don't have time. I've been in corporations and startups where they've said that, and some people go, I'm gonna go, and some people go, I'm gonna stay. And in the end, it's a wash as to who it made. I end up getting a job offer for being a corporate officer at Thomas Dolby. She blinded me with science. His company, Beatnik, and I turned it down. And my wife at the time was enraged. She goes, "You could have been," and of course the company went in the toilet. He's now started a new company, changed the name, and their claim to fame is the Nokia ringtone. But
Right.
That wasn't enough to make anybody in the company a billionaire. Who knew? Who knew that the guys at YouTube would end up being billionaires? You can't tell. So, you know, Iaquinta's got to do what Iaquinta's got to do. He's got to come home every day after training 8 hours and have the wife say, you know, the backyard fence is fucked up. Okay, all right, well, I'll price it out. Well, the guy wants $5,000 to put a new fence in. Fuck. You know, that's like, what? $5,000? Well, I used to be able to make, I mean, you know, these guys, he's not fucking around. He's really not fucking around. This is like a life, like, you know, Dana doesn't have to answer these questions. I mean, the bald one doesn't have to answer these questions when he goes home, man. He doesn't have to say, okay, we got to start interviewing at preschools, at kindergartens for the kid. It would really be nice to go to this private one where my kids don't have to get fucking beaten up every day. Maybe we could go, well, tuition there is $18,000 a year. This shit's not a joke, man. Real life is not a joke. And dude's got to do what he's got to do. And he sold me completely when he said, you know, I'm in the top 10 of fighters. If I was top 10 real estate guys in my area, I'd be fucking rolling deep. And he's right. You know, let's cross-collateralize. If I'm the number 10 top journalist in the country, do you think I'm sitting here in a dirty T-shirt?
If it's your stick,
Maybe.
Look at you guys. Gotcha. Turned it around. Didn't think it would come home to roost, would you? You Shylock. You exploiter of the people.
man, if you wear a clean outfit, you're selling out.
I mean, I think if you're WME, you can't. At this point, what you're selling is belief, and if guys not going to believe it, let them flame out. Let them pull a Verdum. Let them, go.
Which is, for those of
Verdum is the one who sent out the tweets, hashtag Reebok sucks balls. And don't think because you put that shit in Portuguese that nobody notices. Yeah, Reebok sucks balls. Really? So then you lose your commentating job, and now you're just a guy sitting at home watching the fights. Man, you got to hold it down. You got to hold it down. Everybody, I'm not the one who's saying that. Well, I was the first one to say it, but I got a guys who's like, like some of these other so-called MMA journalists that kind of say, look, 3 months, 6 months, unknown how much time, but you got to fucking hold it down. Iaquinta has decided, I got a backyard fence that needs to be fixed. I got to go. And like I don't have 8-hour training days when I got to sell a house. Screw it, All right, man.
So what's your take?
Let the talk go when you go. Yeah.
Well, my take is sooner or later this is going to bite them in the ass. But for right now, they don't give a shit. So they're just going to keep on rolling. They're after the big fighters, the big money, the big fights, the fights that move the needle. Iaquinta, I'm sorry, does not move the needle. He's a great fighter. The hardcore fans like him. But they long ago gave up caring about the hardcore fans. That's come back to bite them in the ass because their median pay-per-view sales are down. Merchandise sales are in the toilet. There's not a cult of UFC douchebags like there used to be, like in 2010, where it's unbearable. You couldn't go to a kid's soccer game without seeing somebody in an Affliction T-shirt and taking testosterone and
hey, ease up on the testosterone thing.
Yeah. And, but these days, nobody's flying the UFC flag anymore because nobody gives a shit about the UFC as a brand. They care about Conor McGregor. They care about Ronda Rousey. Maybe they care about Cyborg. Maybe they care about Jon Jones. And WME is just looking for big money right now. They've got a pretty strict timeline to make a pretty big bonus if they can raise revenue and cut expenses. They're firing executives left and right. Cutting some fighter salaries, no problem. They just need low-paid chum to fill out the cards, so they don't care about a mid-level fighter like Iaquinta. I'm sorry. And in the long run, maybe it bites them in the ass. Do they care about the long run? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think they do.
Remember after that fight when he was like, "You booing me? Did you fucking booing me?" Like,
yeah, I love that guy, man. He was one of the don't cares who made it to a care. I love Iaquinta, but he, the thing is, you got to also understand. Now that they've extended certain benefits to considering these guys like employees, like healthcare, it's not just, like they used to call it Intel T-comp. It's total compensation. So it's not just whatever you were going to pay him for the fight. I'm sure there's some sort of base level that affects their insurance premiums. They probably have it written into the business plan. We got to cut 70 guys. So we got, for sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we got to fucking, like Muta Baruka said, free up the land, white man. So, you got to just, you just got to, some guys got to go, and whether it's attrition, whether they move off voluntarily, somebody's got to go. So if you're electing yourself out, good, thank you. Sorry it didn't work out. Good luck to you in your future ventures.
Well, speaking about making choices, Nate, your NFL commissioner Roger Goodell, Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton didn't care that his team won on Sunday. After taking a questionable hit to the knees, he said, quote, "At times, I don't even feel safe. And enough is enough. I plan on talking to Commissioner Goodell about this. It's not fun." End quote. With ratings down, how do you handle his discontent?
You got to talk to the man. I mean, this is, a Super Bowl team, star player. The NFLs are making moves to protect the quarterback. The ratings overall for the NFL are in the toilet this year. I mean, you're talking 25% downs on different game nights.
It's a disaster.
It's a disaster. So Goodell's in a tough spot, but I think you got to listen to your star. You got to talk to him. You got to make some PR moves, maybe find somebody, maybe complain to a referee publicly. Like, point fingers and blame people. That's what it's time to do. I think that's what Goodell needs to do. He needs to make some scapegoats, make an example, and teach some lessons.
What do you think, Eugene?
I love that, man. I'm going to make that my life credo. Point fingers and blame people. I'm looking. As soon as I find gypsies, I'm going to blame the gypsies.
That's racist. The Roma are very oppressed people.
That's true. That's why I picked. Babe. Hey, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but right now there's an online thing fomenting celebrity cage matching, and somebody has matched me up. Some guy I don't even know. He's not even a Facebook friend. Has matched me up. Me via Henry Rollins. Right?
Oh, I saw that.
Henry is wizened at this point, man. You could shred him.
Well, they say Henry during his prime against me at any point. And then one guy, this came in just as we're doing the show, guys. I'm Team Robinson, of course, especially if Rollins owed him money. Eugene once made me pay him back a dime that I needed for bus fare after spending over $20 in his record store.
Oh, man.
I'm not proud of this, but, you know, you got to understand the value of a dime. And it's a principle.
That's our curveball. Eugene, you're the Tokyo Medical University Hospital. Ooh, yeah. According to the Asahi Shimbun, while your doctors were performing surgery on a patient's cervix, a, quote, laser is believed to have ignited the gas she passed. The blaze burned much of her body, including her waist and legs, end quote. Do you need to make any PR moves to ensure your patients of their safety? Or just wait for the kerfuffle to pass, like her gas?
Oh, man. This is the most fucked up curveball ever, man. Where'd you find that? That's horrible. That's fucking horrible. You know, what do you do? I mean, I think this is the kind of story that has international legs, and you just want it to go away as quickly as possible. Give her as much money as you can squeeze out of your insurance company. You know, have somebody design some patented, you know, fart away a fart vacuum that you put under somebody's ass when you're doing this kind of surgery, and then hope for the best, man. I mean, people who need that surgery. People who need that, or maybe make it so that you don't eat for 24 hours before, which you're supposed to do for many surgeries anyway. But that shit, God damn it, man, not what you expect to have happen. Yeah, I mean, if you are the people who burned up somebody's lower half of their body, starting with their cervix, you probably want this to go away as quickly as possible. The reality of it is, it will never, for at least the person who was being operated on. She'll be thinking about this a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And if you think if she was married before, you know, the woman's got a claim, man, because comes home with the whole bottom half of her body burned. You know, you're really pushing that sickness and health thing to the edge if you're the husband. I mean, this could be fucked up in a lot of different ways, So I think you just want to get people to stop thinking about it, specifically people like us talking about it.
Yeah, give her all the money you can. Come up with some kind of fart away magic gas cork for the ass for the surgery. Hype how you've made the procedure even safer with the new advances, and just hang your heads in shame because you done fucked up.
Well, speaking of done fucking up, Nate, your FBI Director James Comey.
Hey.
Last July, you recommended that no charges against Hillary Clinton were appropriate in your investigation over her handling of classified information on her private email server. Walk us through your PR considerations for creating what many Republicans and Democratic observers consider an inappropriate October surprise to reopen the investigation. And let us know whether you can or want to walk it back.
I don't think Comey can walk it back. And it's clear that Comey's entire PR world is obsessed with the GOP Wurlitzer. I mean, he's worried about what Hannity's going to be saying. He's worried about what the members of the Benghazi committee are going to be saying. And if you care about those assholes, you're lost. I mean, there's no pleasing them. He's in an impossible position. He made himself look like a complete ass to the rest of the world because there's apparently nothing there. He hadn't even seen what was in the Wiener materials, and it's had a measurable impact on the election. If he wanted to elect Donald Trump, good job. You just made the biggest contribution to Trump anybody. I mean, bigger than any of the GOP contributors who are sitting this one out. So, you know, I don't think he cares about the liberal blogs that are screaming about it. I don't think he cares about the mainstream media that's bitching about it. I don't think he cares about the Clinton campaign or the Obama White House. I mean, director of the FBI is kind of like a tenure for life. I mean, J. Edgar Hoover established a pattern. You can get away with anything you fucking want to. Except,
not since Louis Freeh. No, they've been hustling these guys out of there.
Yeah, it's true. There's been some pressure on people, and I think if Clinton gets elected, Comey's going to be in a very interesting spot. Of course, Clinton's just the kind of politician to be handcuffed by perceptions and the feeling that, oh, I can't get rid of this guy because he's, people are going to say shit. Well, you should get rid of the guy. I mean, Obama should have got rid of the guy. The guy needs to go. The whole FBI is a shit show anyway. And people are becoming more and more aware of what a huge fiasco-laden bag of horse shit the FBI is. And don't come investigate me. I think you're wonderful. Just kidding.
Entertainment purposes only. Entertainment purposes only.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think Comey played to the audience he cared about, which was the hardcore right-wing, old-time GOP noise machine, Rush Limbaugh, et cetera, et cetera. They're not going to be crapping on him over this. Although some Republicans have turned on him, Albert Gonzales, of all people, his old enemy, the former Bush Attorney General, has shit on him all over this, although that probably has more to do with some vendettas from back in the Bush administration days. When Comey, in his one moment of glory, refused to sign documents, they went to Ashcroft's hospital bed when Ashcroft was Attorney General and tried to get him to reverse his decision allowing torture while he was under anesthetic, and Comey stood there and defended Ashcroft and didn't let that happen. Of course, Ashcroft later came to his senses and rolled over and gave him everything they wanted anyway, but that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, Comey's played to the audience he cares about, and, sometimes you just got to take what comes.
What do you think, Eugene?
I think, look, after the last election cycle, they had this big come to Jesus meeting, and I'm speaking the Republicans, about they're going to widen the tent, and they were going to go double down on compassionate conservatism, and they're going to try to win back the middle ground, and they have completely ignored all that, courtesy of the Donald. And really, you know what? Like a friend of mine used to say when he was doing collections, ignoring this won't make it go away. You got a civil war on your fucking hands, and if you don't deal with it, it's going to deal with you. Acting like, oh, we shouldn't be fighting. We have a common enemy. That doesn't solve your fucking problems. Not at all. Paul Ryan doesn't solve your problems at all. You got Paul Ryan, it was trumpeted today, went and voted for Trump. John Kasich didn't. He wrote in Gore. You got a problem in your fucking party. So, they're doing this multi battlefront thing where they're trying to, with the culture wars, to deal with the Trump thing, and they're still trying to fire off at the Democrats. If the Clintons have learned anything from 8 years of Obama, it's that playing nice is completely fucking pointless. I'm hoping that she realizes I got 2 years to the midterms. She becomes president, and at this point now, the last 5 minutes of The Godfather have to be the first 5 months of my administration. I'm going to settle fucking old scores, and you're gone. You're I mean, if history has been any indication, they should have fucking iced Wiener when they had the chance. Yeah.
But the Clintons really ran an assassination machine. I think Wiener would have been dead sometime.
Yeah, well, here we go. That brings us to our teachable moment then, Eugene.
Hold on, and I want to share this with Nate for a bit. I don't know if you're paying attention to your Twitter feed. Raymond Pettibon is calling Clinton a super predator.
Raymond Pettibon.
Unbelievable, man. Yep. Fuck. Talk about a guy destroying his market value.
Hey,
Boom.
You should be Facebook friends with Mo Tucker of the Velvet Underground if you want to see unhinged Trump supporters going full racist. Oh, yeah. Mo is really embarrassing herself.
All right. Yeah. I will do this.
Well, now that brings us to our teachable moment. Eugene, you're Anthony Weiner. You ruined your political career twice for sexting. Now you run the risk of ruining Hillary Clinton's presidential aspirations after the FBI found her emails on your computer during their investigation of your communication with a 15-year-old. What can you do, and we can learn, in wake of your 5 fingers of political death?
Man, you know what? Remember Frankie Pangella I don't know if I got his name right, where Tom Hayden goes to talk to him in the lockup after Michael Corleone showed up with his brother at the proceeding, and he said, in ancient times, Roman aristocracy, when things are going against them, go home, open a vein, and get in the bathtub. It's an honorable thing to do. You know, I think somebody. I mean, if you think that this is this is the last act of the wiener play. If you think that this is all, then now it's all on the table. That we couldn't possibly go any deeper. You know nothing about male sexuality. You know, this is just the tip of a much more gooned out fucking iceberg. It's not gonna fucking stop. Moreover, as long as this guy lives until he gets the help that he needs, or at least appears to get the help that he needs, this shit is not gonna. It's not gonna fucking stop, man. The guy lost everything again. It's like I used to want to do this movie and call it The Losers. They had one last chance and they blew it again and again. That's him. That's it, you know, and he's going to be a thorn in the side. I mean, the Democrats have been remarkably bereft of sex scandals, because if you're a gay Democrat, you're just a gay Democrat. You're not hanging out in men's rooms, sucking penises on the sly. You just go to Grindr, you meet somebody, right? The Republicans have this whole thing with repression. This is like, you know, and because there have been so few Democratic sex scandals, there's like, all of a sudden has a resonance with a Clinton presidency that you just don't fucking need. You just don't need it. The guy could have been a gambling fanatic. He could have been, you know, he could crackhead, a drug addict, anything. He could have cheated on his wife. But this fucking kink shit, man, it just plays badly. It reminds everybody of the wrong things, and it really is a fucking distraction. The guy's trouble. He can't lose more, and he's still not stopping. He seriously has a fucking problem. And not Elliot Spitzer, who was like, okay, you got me. I had a momentary lapse of confusion. I
want to live on the edge.
And then he's choking some woman in the lobby of a hotel recently.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly correct. Sorry. Yeah.
And I'd just like to thank the FBI for keeping us all safe, and thank you.
Look at you. You're afraid now. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Watching what they're doing to the First Nations people in Dakota. So it's a question for Anthony Weiner. Who's the subject of the question?
I've had a hard time getting the FBI to respond to me. I've called them several occasions.
I see.
Yeah, because this woman was threatening to murder me. You know, I was like, man.
You wanted their help.
I wanted their fucking help, and they're like, hey, you know what, Robinson? Fuck you. I got no help. So
yeah, that's not how it works. Yeah, if you're Anthony Weiner, man, you're fucked. Just shut up and go away. There's no helping that dude. He's clearly got some deeply pathological need to destroy himself and humiliate himself and everyone around him. I feel bad for the guy. He was a talented politician. And at this point, he's not even, welcome on TV talk shows anymore. I mean, he has got to start completely over from scratch. The 15-year-old girl thing, the picture with his kid in the bed and a heart on, that was just disgusting. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're talking about losing everything, including custody of your kids, including visitation rights with your kids. It is time to get yourself into a mental health clinic before it's too late, because this road leads to suicide. I really do. I think this is a complete self-destruction. And I mean, I don't care about you, dude, but if you care about yourself at all, which you apparently don't, maybe if you care about your kid, maybe your kid would like you to stay alive. I guarantee it. No matter how big a fuck up you are, get some fucking help. And I don't know that there's any help that works for this deep-seated an issue. I'm very skeptical about that, but try anything, man. Acupuncture, rainbow therapy. I don't know. Make something up. Pay somebody to wash your brain. Join a religious cult. Anything is better than what you're doing, because the next stop is this one might get you in prison, but next stop is prison or suicide, and dude needs to check himself.
It's really crazy because I saw that the Wiener documentary this weekend.
It's an excellent documentary, although it makes you very uncomfortable.
It does. There are a couple of things with it that were wild. Number one is it was kind of uncertain whether or not although the director was a friend of his, allegedly, chronicling his comeback, it was kind of uncertain whether or not the idea for coming back into office, trying to get that become mayor of New York, was Huma's idea or his idea. Right,
that was uncertain. Huma's, and that seems to be.
I thought that's what it was, but they didn't really they didn't say yes, it was her idea, but she was front and center in all those ads. pimping your kid, putting the kid out there. It's very uncomfortable. Kind of reinforce notions that people have this hatred that people have of New Yorkers, and they're just vapid and ambitious and just care about themselves and just aren't about anything. That was really disappointing watching that aspect of it. Another thing that was crazy too, even before this whole thing, was just the tension in a relationship. Like, you see the looks that she's just given this guy, like after he falls from grace. I mean, it was very uncomfortable. It wasn't like one of these moments, like sometimes you can laugh at people's discomfort, but it was just so uncomfortable and so bizarre. And then also the kid being there at times too made it more problematic, and just to think that, okay, you know what? That's before this controversy.
Yeah.
And the thing I thought was bizarre about the controversy in the movie, which was his second sexting thing, was, and this is with this current controversy as well, there seems to be this weird lack of disclosure and having a plan in place for when people find out the truth. You see in that documentary, like, there are people who were on his staff who were gung-ho about him. Like, when you look at footage of how he was a congressman, he's phenomenal. Like, the issues that he brought forth for the middle class and working people, he's very effective. He seemed to be really passionate about it. And then when the news came out, like, people were just totally floored. And the chief of staff was told by Huma, because she had been accosted by a member of the media, the staff, they said, give us information on how many people there were, or we're going to say you were sleeping with them. And Huma's like, you better go outside and look happy. You better look happy when you go outside. And so you see a situation where if you got the sense that he knew that there was the possibility of the other texts coming out, because while he was having this public apology and I've changed, I've transformed myself, he was still sexting people. So no transparency, at least with his staff, and say, hey, guess what? I was still doing stuff, and if it comes out, we need to have a plan. It's the same with this. There's stuff on the computer. If it comes out, like, if you're not going to be transparent, like, there's no plan whatsoever. It's just so weird. It's like a child, and I'm putting Huma in this too. Like, but you're just totally unprepared for the very likely scenario in which the truth is going to come out. And then you're scrambling around.
Yeah, but you're looking at this the wrong way, man. I mean, as a guy who does a sex column, you gotta, I'm frequently in a position where I'm trying to uncover. It's not what people say, as I'm trying to uncover what the real kink is. And some woman was in a long-term relationship with a guy, and the guy, they pull in a third woman, so now they have a threesome thing, and so now it's clear that she's being moved out. And I'm like thinking, this is not her real. You know what she's in? Her kink is fucking humiliation. And that's why she's publicly sharing this shit with me now. Because she could leave at any fucking time. 9 years in, the writing is on the wall. You don't need my advice. You want to do this whole kind of public disrobing, and that is the real fucking kink. Somebody once told me about addicts. They're not addicted to fucking drugs. They're addicted to regret. They're addicted to a certain kind of public shaming. It's like, his real kink is fucking probably humiliation, because you can't tell me that the guy has no fucking, hey, guys who cheat, most of the guys who cheat well have fucking plan Bs. Hey, I called Jim's house. You said you were over at Jim's house. No, Jim was supposed to show up, but he at the last second, so I went over to Johnny's house. Oh, he goes, I'll ask Johnny's wife if you left your thing over there. And at that point, he goes, cool, because he already talked to Johnny. They already talked to squared it with Johnny. His plan B is fucking airtight. Why? Because it's more important to him to fuck around than it is to get caught for fucking around. Guys who want to not get caught don't get caught. Guys who get caught sometimes want to get caught. That's part of the fucking kink, and we're all passive participants in this fucking execution of this guy's kink. He's like, I'm such a bad boy on a national scale. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
So, but though, do you think she's part of the whole? Part of her kink too. Like, is she like, oh, I'm with this disgraced guy, it's making me closer to Hillary? Like, No,
I mean, what I find more disturbing. I mean, I've been doing sex columns for about 12 years now. What I find more disturbing is that the level and quality of shit that women put up with far outpaces the shit that men put up with. And maybe it's an ego issue, because most men, the woman fucks around, the guys are out. One way or another, they're fucking out. They either fall apart and fuck up, or they can't handle the specter.
They don't put up with it.
well, it's not so much they don't put up with it, but they can't handle the specter of a possibly better penis, even if it has nothing to do with penis. You know, whereas women dealing with men fucking around, it's like, well, at least somebody else likes him. There are no surprises. There's no surprises left in that penis. If you've had sex with your woman more than 3 times, she knows exactly what you got. You know, she's so. But the kind of some woman wrote to me once and said her husband had a premature ejaculation. Well, how long would you think this would be a problem that you could deal with? I don't know, 3 months, 6 months before you go into sex therapy. She was with this guy for 12 years. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, 3 seconds. I go, how do you know it was 3? He said, I counted the strokes. 1, 2, 3, done for 12 years. Do you know of any single guy who would put up with that? Now, which means 12 years of her not having an orgasm unless she was masturbating. No, you think a guy go 12 years and the only time he has an orgasm when he masturbates and he's going to stay and not fuck around? Get out of here. So, you know, I think Huma was just, you know, expect the worst, hope for the best, and see the guy's got a good job. We're a celebrity couple. All of the optics are right here. Let's see if we can make this work. You know, I don't think there was a lot of due diligence going on.
That's true. I mean, there also could be that whole generational, depending on where she's getting her advice from, generational cultural. Because, you know, I have friends who, you know, when they have their husbands engaging in certain behavior, you know, their mother, not the mother of the husband, but of the woman, says, they're men. What do you expect? You know, so it's like no support, no sympathy whatsoever. It's like, well, what do you expect? This is what men do. So it's kind of normalizing this kind of, you know, this horrid behavior. So that could be, I guess, element of it too. Man. That's the wrong sound effect.
It's like the cartoon thing. My head is on.
Yeah. That's how my brain felt after that whole Anthony Weiner thing, man.
Yeah.
Because, you know, more is going to come out during the presidency. Anyway, it brings us to our regular feature, Eugene's Lost Battalion Phantom Toll Booth.
Well, we got the courtesy of D and the D man, and because I don't know if he wants me to use his real name, and he also texted me during the show, and maybe it's old news to you, but Pat Lundvall got fired. Is that news? Did you get?
Wow,
no, I didn't know that. That is news.
Whoa.
There were rumors that she wasn't going to be, that her term was ending, and they weren't going to renew it or whatever. However they do it out there, but I know
the text I'm reading says firing, and then he goes on to say she was the most offensive member of NSAC. Think the writing is on the wall. Like I said, baby, you know, when you see those U-Hauls driving to LA, you had to know. You had to know. So
yeah, trying to fuck Conor McGregor over like she did was just stupid. I mean, that guy makes money for the UFC, for whatever state he's fighting in. You do not fuck with the Golden Goose, and that's what she was doing, and that was just stupid. She forgot her place in the cosmos.
Yeah, so now I don't know if it's okay to claim that she is in the Lost Battalion, because I think her awareness of where she is at this point in time is probably very high, but maybe she has a vision of herself as a crusader, like truth, justice in the American way, and the good will make right this evil wrong, and that in the wash everything will come out okay, and then she will, but that shit's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So, but no. I think what was much more significant this week was not. I mean, we've had 3 weeks and no fight. So, but I think what was much more significant was the creation of the new category that lost in the supermarket, are lits, and somebody had gone on when I start mentioning Knuckle Up. They go, yeah, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. A lot of people in the top 5 are fucking lits, you know? I mean, because can you build a fight on the back of pick somebody in the top 5? You know, I mean, it's a stretch with Wonder Boy and Woodley, you know. So I think that is probably. I used to think the Phantom Toll Booth was the biggest was the biggest category, and frankly, you know, DC and DJ are not in the Phantom Toll Booth, but where are they? Well, lost in this Lits makes a lot of sense to me, you know. And so you're in one place or the other, and that I don't know if that's a bad place to be. I think it's probably I think I would rather be in the Phantom Toll Booth. I think I would, because there's an opportunity that you look down and your number is the number, and then you got a chance to shine. But if you're lost in the supermarket, it means they've looked at your Q rating and have found you wanting. You know, maybe it's not us. maybe it's not you, maybe it's us. Maybe we just haven't figured out the magic sauce necessary to make you a huge international star. But I suspect guys like Rory McDonald are sitting at home going, yeah, and it's not a yeah. You know, not a yeah, man. It's you. It's not. It's like, it's not you. It's me. No. It's not me. It's you. You know. So,
Jeez.
I mean, you know, Ari Emanuel is out there like, you know, technically, I'm a bigger star than you are. I got my Screen Actors card. I've been in more TVs and movies, and I'm just playing myself. Get in the fucking line behind me. You know, I mean, come on.
Man. Such an uplifting end of the episode. You know, I do a curveball. It's supposed to be full of hijinks because that's farting in it, but you know.
Well, hey, we should talk about when we're gonna do next week, because we should do. I mean, I think we should do If I Did It on Wednesday, right?
After the election.
After the election.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Because then we can see Trump scream for his followers to go out to the streets and kill every hootsie they find. Or, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Non-Trump supporter they find.
You're a machete wielding.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter at Eugene S. Robinson and KidNate Alexi Old. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
Ta-da!
Yes. And leave comments on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube, MMA Nation on iTunes. Visit Bloody Elbow, read EugeneOzzy.com. Be sure to check out all three of us on Amazon.com. Let me ask you guys this, though. Since we probably will be having something after the election, give me your predictions for who's going to win and what the how close, if at all, it's going to be. Let's start with you, Nate.
You want a prediction on who's going to win? I got to go with Clinton. The odds are still Clinton. I think 292 electoral votes.
What do you think, Eugene?
Well, I don't see any reason not to line up behind Nate on that one.
What about the House and Senate races?
GOP holds the Senate and the House.
Oh, I don't think that. I think they lose the Senate.
This is kind of like a care don't care political version.
Yeah,
There is a chance.
No, but you just had that guy today, the North Carolina guy, who was like, "Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't shot Hillary in the face." Yeah, then he had to apologize afterward. It's like, come on, man. You were locked in a tight race in North Carolina that's fighting its history anyway, and you come out and say, "Yeah, I was at it. They should shoot her in the face." Come on, man. You know, go on. 6 days before the election, you're fucking bouncing out with some shit like that. Come on. But
yeah, man.
We'll see. We'll see. There's also a slim chance Hillary wins the popular vote and loses the Electoral College.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think they're prepared for that.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And we'll find out. We'll be back next week with another installment If I Did It, and we don't know what we'll be talking about yet, but actually we do the election. Because the PR mistakes have yet to be made.